from Pop Shop America. We are unboxing the January 2020 Craft and Style subscription box. That's our subscription box that's full of unique craft supplies. We send it out every month. So every month you get new projects, something new to do. So let's open it up and see what's inside. So the first thing that I always do when I open up these boxes is I look right here at the envelope on top, because this is going to tell you what you're making this month, and it's going to tell you everything that's included in the box. This is a really great guide to know everything that's inside and what you're actually doing. From there, you can find all of your instructions right on top. So these are the instructions for January 2020. There's lots of color, there's lots of information, there's lots of helpful guides. So check that out first and then dig into the box contents. So here's what we have this month. There's always some popsicle sticks or something really boring in your box. Get used to it, but it'll really come in handy. This is going to be really fun. This will be a big surprise what we're going to do with that. We've got a foam brush. We've got some super glue. This is really fun right here. This is silicone. This is rubbing alcohol. And then we've got some really cool nails. We've got some T-shaped nails, and we've got some finishing nails right here. And let's dig into this crinkle paper to find the rest of our box contents. Every box is full of cute crinkle paper to keep everything protected, and it also makes it a party when you open it. We've got a little piece of canvas. We've got some stretched canvas, 3 different pieces. One is a 4x6, 2 are 6x8, and we've got one more raw piece of canvas on the bottom. So we've got 5 pieces of canvas all together. We've got a wood shim. We've got an array of different paint. There's always going to be 5 in every single box. There's 3 different color palettes to pick from. So this one is a turquoise blue, lime, and white palette. Plus we've got some cups for mixing paint. Last, we've got Floetrol. This is a latex conditioner. We're going to add this to our acrylic paint to make our paint pouring medium. We're going to mix acrylic paint pouring medium. We've got all of the supplies that we need right here, so let's go ahead and get started. This is a really simple recipe, but you might notice when you're researching for the first time on the web that there are tons of different recipes, and that can get really confusing. So all I'm doing is I'm filling these cups about 1/3 of the way, first with Floetrol. I highly recommend using Floetrol, not using another brand, because this is definitely the industry standard. This is what people prefer. This is affordable. It's easy to use. I do not recommend using DecoArt acrylic paint pouring medium. There are some higher quality paint companies like Golden and Liquitex that make their own acrylic paint pouring medium. And those are really great, but they're going to be really expensive. So those are not necessarily something that I would recommend starting out. I think that if you decide you want to professionally make acrylic paint pouring paints or paintings, then you can consider those brands. But Floetrol is definitely choice for anyone starting out. So we have these 1/3 of the way full. These are a little bit more like half. They don't have to be perfect. And now we're going to add our paint. So I also recommend I'm using a DecoArt paint. So you can use inexpensive acrylic paint, but you don't want to use the cheap pouring medium. The thing that's important is that you want a really beautiful color, but if you're using a high-end paint, you might notice that you're wasting a lot of it because you have to mix so much of it into the pouring medium. So this is a really great way to make acrylic paint pouring paintings affordably and to use your supplies wisely. So again, we're just pouring halfway with acrylic paint and halfway with Floetrol in all of these paper cups. I'm going to use a separate stir stick for each one, and what we're looking for is a consistency in the paint. I want the paint to flow off the end of my popsicle stick or my stir stick without any concerns. So we need these to be perfectly mixed, and then what we want to do is we would just want to release the popsicle stick, the paint, back into the cup and just see how well it flows. And this seems pretty nice. This might be slightly thick, but I think this is just about where we want it. If it's still too thick, you can add a small amount of water. You can also add a small amount of rubbing alcohol to these. Just a few drops, maybe half an ounce at the most. That's all you need. Rubbing alcohol added to your Floetrol and paint mix, your acrylic paint pouring medium, is going to produce more cells in your finished product, but it's not something that you need. It's not required for this acrylic paint pouring medium. So here we've got these beautiful colors right here. We definitely want to create a palette that we love, something that matches. And again, we want that consistency where the paint just falls off of the end of your stir stick or your popsicle stick. You just want it to fall right off. This is definitely about as thick as I would want it. If you want something that runs, that's going to pour even easier, then you can add a small amount of water or a small amount of rubbing alcohol. This one we're really not going to see much change because this is our white. So this we just want to visualize and consider how much we stirred these other colors and repeat. We do want this to be evenly mixed, so that's a little bit more challenging in the white. A little bit less challenging when you're working with color. All right, so we've got all of our colors mixed. We've got 4 different colors to work with for our acrylic paint pouring paintings. But before we get started making these paintings, I'm going to add one more supply that I really love that I think you're going to love too. So we've got this silicone right here. This is just pure silicone. What most people recommend is actually treadmill lubricant. That's what we're using here. We're going to add 1 drop, only 1 drop to each of these colors in front of me. You can mix in that drop thoroughly into the paint, just like we mixed the Floetrol and the paint together. You can also just drop the silicone right on top and let it sit on top. What that's going to do is it's going to increase the amount of cells in the acrylic paint pouring painting. It's really beautiful. It's going to do some really cool things with the colors. So let's just drop it on in. Again, it's just 1 little tiny drop in each of these colors, no more than 1 drop. So there we've got our drop, drop, 1 more, and our last one right there. Ooh, that one had 2. And I'm just going to leave these right on top just for fun. I'm not even going to mix them in. So now we are ready to make our acrylic paint pouring paintings.